good evening. I wasn't planning on doing a video, but I feel like it needs to be out there. I'm canning soup today, and so I just wanted to talk with you guys about it for a minute. I am canning 15 bean soup. I had made a ham and made ham stock with the bone and leftover meats, and it's a really good soup. So I want to can it up to have it on my shelf for easy lunches, dinners, whatever. So it is heated up to a boil, and it's just simmering now. I have some Harvest Guard lids simmering, getting them nice and ready to go, and I have jars with hot water that I have washed waiting to go in the pressure canner. So let's talk about canning soup. Many people don't know this, but you can can all sorts of types of soups. As long as the ingredients that you are putting in it are able to be canned and have their own canning time, then you can can the soup. So what I mean is, if you're wanting to do like potato soup, then the potatoes, the carrots, the onions, the stock, all of that is already have their own canning times. So you can can it as a soup. Zuppa Toscana, the sausage, the potatoes, the onions, the kale, all those things already have their own times. Now, of course, things to consider and think about. Zuppa Toscana has creamy broth, so you would not add the cream until you opened up the jar. Potato soup, my potato soup has flour and cream, so those would wait, and I would make a slurry while I heat up the soup to thicken it up, and then nothing's better than using fresh cream anyway. So I don't know why people will can with cream. I know you're not supposed to, but some people still do it. Your kitchen, your rules. But like the taste of fresh cream, like it makes it, I don't even want to be a rebel canner, but I digress. So if it has, thickeners, dairy, or grains, noodles, then obviously you wouldn't be able to can those leftovers. But if you knew you were making a big batch of something, you could go ahead and make it, can a bunch, and then set whatever you're wanting to eat that night or the next couple nights, set that aside and go ahead and add your thickeners, your creams, your noodles, whatever. So I have my soup, I have my quart jars. Now I have made this soup just like I would if it was going to be, if I was going to be serving it, with the only difference being the National Center of Food Preservation website states that you want to have the beans fully hydrated in your soup. I have mine mostly cooked, but they're not all the way cooked because I still want them to have a slight bite. But it's going to be okay because I made the soup really brothy to compensate for the fact that the beans are going to soak up some of my liquid. So if you're wanting to go right off the instructions, then you want to go ahead and make sure your beans are all the way cooked. So you can see it is really brothy. I didn't let it get super starchy to where it almost thickens its own stock up. And you just want to get it to an inch of headspace. And I'm making sure there's a couple scoops of just the stock, and you can see how rich that stock is. It is absolutely delicious. And since this is so brothy, I am not going to worry about debubbling. But right here is your inch line. Okay. And then you want to go ahead and take some vinegar water. Wipe the rim of your jar. And then you want to put on either a one-time use metal lid, or if you use reusable lids, then use those. And like I said, I let mine simmer in some water. And then you have your little gasket, your lid, and they fit like so. Right top. All right, so this is good to go. It's going to go in the canner, and for my altitude, it is 10 pounds of pressure. And okay, so it is the next morning. I just removed the rings, and I just wanted to show you they're still haven't been cleaned, nothing. I am so happy with how these turned out. So whenever you're using Tadlers, I've said this before, and I have the video. After you do, like, that's how you put them on. So it's not fingertip tight. Once they come out of the canner, I let mine rest for about 5 minutes after I take the lid off, like pressure's gone down and everything. I take the lid off, let them sit for about 5 minutes, and then put them on the counter. And by the time I get everything on the counter and situated, it's been about another 5 minutes. And so then I just crank down fingertip tight on all the rings, and that just helps seal everything. So obviously we can see we have very slight siphoning, which was to be expected because I did use beans that were al dente, if you will. So that's honestly, that's what I expected, and that is perfect. Like, A-okay. And it looks like everything sealed very nicely, which is also wonderful. And just to show you, so right now you can see where it's separated. Sorry, I couldn't do that with one hand. So once you shake it up, you can see it is the perfect consistency of a really nice bean soup. So I'm really excited. And then on this one, it filled up the jar to about here. So what's great about canning soups, and I'm so glad I'm able to show you, is we just filled it up with water. Like, you could have filled it up with chicken broth. You could have filled it up with more ham stock. I have another half gallon in the fridge of ham stock that I still want to do some stuff with. But I just filled it up with water to the inch ahead space, just like all the other jars, and that's perfectly fine. That's what's so great, is as long as you're doing it for the right time and you're using ingredients that are able to be canned, you can do something like that instead of being like, oh no, I have to make another batch because I don't have enough to fill my jar, or, you know, make it leftovers. I just canned it up, added some water to it. So I hope that answers some questions that some people may have on canning soups. This is one area where you can get creative. I know I do, and I've put some videos out there, and I want to do a lot more because these are great for, like, myself, for easy lunches. It's where you can get creative. It's where if you feel like you're in a rut, a canning rut, and you're just canning the same old thing, you can get creative whenever you're doing soups, as long as you're still not canning things like dairy and grain. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope it inspires you, and I will see you all on my next video. Thanks for watching.